In all honesty, like I really don't know how to start this off, so I'm just gonna start off by saying something because I know that it would be better to just like be quiet and shit. So yeah, so the purpose of these solo podcasts is to like just say what's on my mind, like what I've been like everything that's going through my head. Just I need to be able to like flow it out through something besides like holding it in. And I thought like the easier way to do this would be through like a little podcast session for myself. I really don't want to invite anybody else to this specifically because I know from how I am that I usually tend to like get off topic when I have someone around me. And right now there are people around me, but my mom's fell asleep, and then everybody else is like outside the room. So yeah. So I guess I'll start off like this. Oh my god. So in some of the videos you might have noticed that there is a lot of background noise, and I wanted to touch up on that. So in the current like we don't live in like a house or anything that luxurious and shit. It's just me, my sister, her husband, her three kids, our dog, and my mom. We're all living under like the same apartment complex, and usually that does like not get to me, but into a certain point it does like in it does make things a little bit more difficult usually when you want to do something on your own, because whenever you want to do something on your own, like you want to relax and just be like secluded from everybody else, you as especially if you have like a somewhat of a big family, you always have a certain family member that is always going to be like very close to you no matter what you do. Even if you want some little privacy, they're always going to be right there next to you. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm really not. But it's just like having that peace of mind, knowing that no one else is there. You can't have that in some situations in this house. Well, not house, or apartment. Well, yeah. And in certain times, it does cause us to get at each other's throats. Particularly me and my sister. We usually tend to fight a lot, and not gonna lie, it fucking sucks. It really does, cause usually because I don't know, shit. How do I say this without sounding like a dick? So, well, my sister is like going under a lot of stress and shit, and I guess the whole like YouTube thing and like me being like a kind of fucking dickhead is not really helping the situation much, because I kind of know how I am like around my family and shit, and that's something I've always like thought about, like if I can like make myself become better. I know I can. It's just like for some reason like I never take the chance to, and it does get to me. Like I said before, it gets to me mentally, like that I'm not being a good brother and shit. Fuck, starting to tear up. No, no, don't cry. So it does get to me that I really can't help her out that much, because or that I choose not to for like a selfish desire. It's like one of the things I actually want to change about myself. And also on the topics of tempers being flared up, yeah, of course, like being in a house with kids, it's especially three kids, one being 8, the other being 3, and the other one being no, one being 8, one being 4, and the other one being 2 years old. it gets really loud in here, and again, like I said before, in those moments of peace, you hardly ever get them here. And to be honest, I really couldn't have it any other way. I fucking love my family regardless of how I feel and what's going through my mind and shit. And they're always gonna be like the main center focus of everything I do. Cause I know my sister, like my sister and my little niece, they were actually happy about like me like starting up this like YouTube shit. And my mom, right now that she's falling asleep, she really can't hear anything that I'm saying right now. But she was happy about like me getting like enough of a following to like I don't know, to like make myself get distracted from like the everyday occurrences of my life. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been keeping a lot away from my family out of like not out of fear. It's just like out of I don't want them to like worry about like all the stuff I've been through, because honestly it's if they kind of knew, I really don't know how well they would take it, because some of the shit's like actually kind of been fucked up. And I don't know, I just gonna bring myself to like say it directly to them. And maybe one day when I'm older and I have more confidence, then yeah, of course I'll always do tell them. So on also topic on the living under the same house, yes, we do have our ups and downs, and I always appreciate every single moment of them, even though, like I said before, our tempers do flare up. Honestly, like, everybody in this house can do something to like change for the better. I honestly feel like I'm the one that needs to change the most, because right now I know I'm still like a fucking dumbass kid and shit. I'm not kid, I'm 20. I'm not exactly a kid anymore. I'm fucking almost a grown man and shit. And I know I need to do better. My little niece, my little nephew.
John, I got drums.
You got drums? Oh, cool.
And it doesn't even come off the seat.
No? Mm-hmm. Show me later, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Alright,
it's blue.
It's blue? Yeah. Ooh, my favorite color. Okay, see you, Junior. And honestly, my little nephew right there, he's the one that gets on my nerves the most, but I love the little kid so much. Oh my god, it's just like, that's something else I don't like about living in this certain area that I live in, because like this area is not really that much of a good area, if you want to call it that. It's kind of I don't want to say it's like a shithole, because there are places worse than this, obviously, but from the things that have been happening, it's not really amounting to be like a good place to be living in. So the most recent thing that happened as of late, there was a shooting that actually happened like not that far away from our apartment complex, and in that time, my family thinks like that's the only shooting that's like actually like been heard about. But honestly, they really don't know like what goes on at night and shit, because usually I really don't tend to sleep I don't have like a set sleep schedule, and I've noticed because of that I've been like I've been feeling horrible, like physically and mentally. And whenever I stay up around that time, I know one of those times, or some of those times, where my mom actually stayed up with like a little later, she's actually heard some of the stuff. So like a few weeks ago, just to name an example, me and my mom, like I was just like laying down laying down, listening to music, and then all of a sudden we hear this lady screaming like at the top of her lungs, and we really don't know what was happening. She sounded like she was talking to someone, of course, but obviously because we live in like an apartment complex, we really can't like see what's happening because like everywhere we look, it's like kind of gated off with like bricks and other stuff like that. So seeing what actually happened is not something that we wanted to see, to be honest. But at the same time, it's like there's someone in need of help, and the cops were called, obviously. And I honestly hope that that person, whoever may be, a good person or a bad person, is just doing better than how they were that night. Usually those types of screams and shit, I do hear those regularly because like like I said before, I'm usually the one that saves up the most, just like doing random shit. I usually tend to hear like screams and some fucking gang fights that's going outside, like not right outside my window, but like close to like where you can easily distinguish like fucking like 16 gunshots like going off at the same time. And I feel like that kind of atmosphere and living here is like, it makes me feel bad in a sense, because my obviously like, since like the rest of my family's not up to hear this, they don't understand like how grave the situation is. And damn. Fuck. Yeah, those. Well, that's kind of like. That's kind of how things are usually in this area. But honestly, like, if I ever do like manage to get this YouTube shit going up, and me being actually successful in this, and getting able to like to pay to move us all out here, I would in an instant, easily. I really don't want my family living here. And yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say this for the first podcast, because I've been talking a lot, and usually about some dark stuff, and well, not dark, but like some stuff that people usually don't want to tend to talk about. And yeah, so I honestly think I'm gonna leave it right here. Alright, guys. So this, like I said before, is a solo podcast that I called "In Inks's Mind." So whenever I have something that goes through my mind, I'm just gonna talk to a mic, and I'm just gonna see what happens. And whatever happens. If I end up crying, if I end up like fucking like like screaming my head off, I'm gonna say this right now. I'm gonna apologize in advance if I do end up crying or like screaming my head off. I know one of these days is gonna happen, and I know I'm not gonna be able to control it, But and the last thing I want to say is like, if you took the time to listen to like some of the stuff I said, this is like not even scratching like the surface of like all the stuff that's going in my mind, to be honest. And I want to thank you for like taking the time out of your day or night to listen to what I have to say. And if you guys want to hear some more stuff that's going on through my head, well, you already know where to find me, right? So yeah, I'll see you guys.